I do not have a face. I do not have a voice. Yet you know my name. For centuries, you called me a curse, a judgment, the wrath of a distant god. But I was none of those things. I was simply hungry. In the year 1347, I stepped off the merchant ships in Sicily, carried on the backs of the small and the forgotten. I didn't hate you. I didn't even want to destroy you. I just wanted to live. But to do that, 50 million of you had to die. Before I broke your world, I broke your trust. You blamed the stars, you blamed the water, you even blamed each other. The ultimate tragedy was how easily you turned on those you loved. Parents abandoned their feverish children. Priests locked their doors to the dying. In your desperate attempt to run from me, you ran away from your own humanity. But my favorite memory was the siege of Kaffa. When the Mongol army realized I had infected their ranks, they did not bury their dead. They put them on catapults. I remember soaring through the cold night air, raining down over the city walls. You see, I did not need to break your gates. You threw me inside yourselves. I am an artist of the flesh, and the body was my canvas. I painted my masterpiece in shades of deep purple and midnight black. First came the shivers, a sudden icy whisper in your bones. Then, the buboes. Great, painful swellings in the neck and thighs. They burned like hot coals under the skin. Your doctors tried to fight me. They truly tried. They came to the bedsides wearing coats of wax and those terrifying bird masks, filling the beaks with dried flowers to shield themselves from my scent. It was a beautiful, tragic dance. They thought the smell of lavender could stop me. They applied burning poultices of manure and urine, or cut the veins open until the patient bled to death. They did not realize that their cures were often faster executioners than I was. Have you ever heard the sound of a continent falling silent? That was my most profound creation. By 1350, entire villages were just ghost towns. The crops rotted in the fields because there was no one left to harvest them. The church bells stopped ringing because the bell ringers were gone. For the first time in history, rich men and beggars slept in the same dirt, tossed into massive, unmarked pits under the cover of night. I watched kings weep for their daughters and mothers, beg the sky for mercy that never came. In those moments, I felt a strange, heavy sorrow. I was reshaping your world, yes, but at the cost of your hearts. I made you equal, but only in death. Eventually, you learned. You stopped running and you started hiding. In Venice, you forced the incoming ships to sit isolated in the waters for 40 days. You invented the quarantine. You starved me out. Without new bodies to feed on, my fires began to burn out. I retreated back into the shadows, back into the dirt, back to the small creatures of the earth. I left you broken, but I also left you reborn, because out of my ashes you built a new world. You valued human life more. You created modern medicine. You survived me. Do not look back at the 14th century as a distant nightmare. I am still here, sleeping in the quiet corners of the globe, waiting for the world to forget. Because history always repeats itself, and I am a very patient listener. You may call me a shadow. You may call me a monster, but history knows me as the Black Death.